After I left public education, I had a dream about doing art camps. And I wanted to do an art camp in a wilderness area and take maybe 10, 12 people up into some of the areas that we love to go and camp and spend that time learning about photography and art and doing some primitive ceramics and drawing and painting, and then getting together in the evenings and having some critiques and evaluations, things like that, in the evenings after supper. And I had it pretty well worked out how I felt like it might work, and I presented the idea to some of my artist friends. And while my time through the last few years has been spent doing some art, but mostly teaching, they were practitioners of different kinds of arts, and they got excited about the prospects of us doing that, and they said, "We're in, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it." So I was really excited about it, but it never happened. In 2006, I began working in a camp called Matthew 18, and it's basically a camp for foster kids. And since we were in foster care for a while, we were very interested, and we have learned to love the camp and have worked in it. This will be our 16th year. But there was a change about 5-6 years in, and I began telling my husband I need to get me a little bus, small bus, and renovate it. And then I can use that, and we can use it if we travel. And our mind kind of played with the idea for quite a few years. In 2018, I met a woman in a campground during the festival in the fall. And she wasn't doing what I had in mind, but she was doing stuff. And I talked to her a lot, went and visited. I even spent some time painting under her awning at her trailer in the campground. And I kind of revisited, and my dream was born again as a little different sort of camp dream. We saw one bus that both of us said, that's the size, that's what we need. And it is what we ended up getting. In January of this year, we traveled over to Little Rock to look at a bus. And I did not know we were going to buy it that day, but we bought it. And we drove it home. We had some problems on the way home, had to have it towed to Fort Smith. Eventually, we've gotten the mechanics worked out. My husband is awesome, and he's gotten it to where it runs really good. And we started doing the renovations of it. Once it became apparent that we would really be able to do this, we got excited. Last weekend we took our maiden voyage, so to speak. We went to the other side of Arkansas and camped in it for a couple of nights. And that taught us a lot. I needed to do that so that I'd be ready, because in 2 weeks I'm going to be camping in it for a week at Matthew 18 camp. And I'm excited about that. I really am. I've got a lot done. I still got quite a bit to do. The problems are beginning to be solved. Things are falling into place, and I'm excited to get this done and to get to use it. We not only want to use it at that camp, but I want to revisit my art in the woods kind of thing, but do it a little different than I had in mind several years ago. But still, yeah. And I've learned some things in the last month or so that are really making me excited about getting busy on it and making it happen. I am. I don't know where it'll go, but I'm excited about it. Anyway, this video is mostly about the renovation of that bus. You saw the cushions I made, and you'll get to see them in place. And we haven't put the bed down yet, but we did use the bed while we were camping. We just used it a little different than we expected to, but it worked real good, and that's what the encouraging thing is. I have a little more to do to get done before camp. We've got to buy a very small air conditioner. Looks like a 5,000 BTU is going to be the smallest we can find. There is less than 100 square feet in the small bus. I call it my adventure bus because it's been an adventure already, and it's surely going to be even more so. But the 5,000 seems like the least. The ones, if you get less than that, are all swamp coolers. And what I need is protection from the humidity. This camp is very, very humid, and it messes with my printer. My printer has trouble printing because the papers get moist and the printer gets moist. And the bugs, oh, they're so bad. Once last year, I went back over there, and I guess it was year 4 last, and it was playing Christmas music. And the bugs, because I have a touchscreen, had actually downloaded a Christmas app, and it was on my computer, and it was playing Christmas music. Yeah, they would open every single program, the bugs would. They would open every single program that I had hitting the screen. And it would lock my computer off, and I'd have to do a hard start on it just to get it back. So that's the kind of thing that I was dealing with, and I've got to have an air conditioner for that. And this year I'm going to need to take my animals with me. The last couple years, my grandson has lived with us, and that's been really neat that we've had him here to take care of the house and the plants and the pool and the animals. You can't have any animals in any buildings. Used to be you could, but not anymore. And so the only way I can really take the animals is to take the bus. But I needed it for the other things as well. My dog and cat travel real well, and they like the bus. They both really enjoy the little bus. So, yeah, there we go. And I'm excited to show it to you. So let's get to it. Yeah, this is coming along. This was about 2 inches longer, needed to be cut down so that it'll fit right. And you can see that piece on the floor, it's been cut down so that it will fit well into place. And we have another one over here, and it's going to have to be cut off the same way so that the two of those will fit in here. And here's the other part of Woodall and Woodall. We are going to be able to slide the easy ups right under that couch bed area right there. We got to figure out how to lower those down slightly, we think. We're going to wait until we get the actual frame that's going on that to be able to see, but I think those are going to have to be kind of redone somehow. Yeah, one of them is going to come over to here. It's got to be placed right in there so that its seat belts. We're going to try to have 3 seat belts along in there, though as my husband has said, seat belts may not do a whole lot of good for people facing sideways. This is one of the seats we've retained, and I hope to put a cabinet right in here and then put a drop leaf workstation at the end of it. We've got to put some pieces right in there so that that brings it up to floor level. And this is where the one that he's already cut off is going to go, and it's a fold-up unit, and I'm tickled about that. And the one he hasn't cut off yet is going to go right there, and I'm going to make a table to go in between the two of them. This seat belt has got to be moved, and this seat belt has got to be moved. I'm going to put a cabinet in this corner, and if everything is able to bolt correctly, then that seat belt will bolt to that cabinet. And that's we're excited about being able to do that. So yeah, this is my little mini bus that is going to be converted into a art camping travel bus. If we're staying a long time somewhere, we'll probably just go ahead and take our camp equipment and throw it up all over the place. But if we were just staying a couple days, it would be nice. Yeah. Well, I thought I would show you a little bit on my little bus, my little adventure bus. We put in the majority of the new floor in it. Finished it this afternoon. These seats fold up or they fold down, and they won't normally have things like dustpans and lights stuck in them. But yeah, there's 2 of them, and they'll have a table between them for a banquette. Right here in this corner is going to go a storage unit that is going to come to the height of that line right there. And it will have a little drop down table that can be lifted up to create a work space with this seat, which is seat belted. And then, oh, and these are seat belted. And then the other unit is going to go in this side, and it's going to go all the way to the ceiling when I get it. And I'm excited about that. There's a working guy. Yeah. So we have a few problems to solve before we can put the last of the flooring in. Not much to do there. And the cabinets will go in eventually, the 2 corner cabinets. And I think it's going to be a nice little unit for the things we want it for. We have a couple of easy ups that will slide underneath the bench seat and can be used on the outside of the bus for shade if we're stopped, or for a little bit of privacy if we're spending the night or something like that. Yeah. So now you have seen my little adventure bus. Yeah, we have trim pieces right there that will go on the edges of this flooring. And I have some stripes that will hook on to the Velcro, and then I'll put some felt in between them that will hook onto the Velcro and cover the seat areas, the 3 seat areas in the bench seat. Well, I ended up having to do it different than I had planned, and I'm not 100% convinced, but I might find another solution eventually. Yeah. There's a pole that goes right here and goes all the way up, and I want to bring this take this thing out and bring a solid piece all the way out to just inside the pole. Yeah. And you still have a good grip there. And that will come up to the height of the chair, which is about this height, about this tall. Same height as that one back there. So it'll be, yeah, about that height, somewhere in about that height. That'll come across. The good thing about that is that it will, if we do that, is it will allow for this little area back here to be a good little chinky hole to stick stuff in when we're traveling. We also have another little chinky hole right there that things can be packed in. My thought is that a cooler will fit in there, a travel type cooler will fit in there right in that little place for when we're traveling and we want to have something to drink or something like that. Yeah, fruit, milk, whatever. But yeah, this is my little bus. We got it started this morning. We had some work to do on the gas tank, and that's done. And got it started, and it ran beautifully for quite a few minutes. So We've got to replace the lighting inside of that. There's lighting in there, and it needs to be replaced. And these little lights like this, there's 3 lights there, don't come on. This one does come on, but yeah, some of the strands are working and some of them aren't. So we need to replace that. I'm not sure what this was there for, but I'm thinking eventually of trying to put a drop-down television right there that can swing away and hook up during the travel time. There was a little one of those deep old tube televisions in there, but yeah, we're not going to use that. This is the fuse box, and that side is just storage. It's got all kinds of power hookups and things in there. So anyway, now you have seen the project that I am working on. Another thing that we have, and it's just right here, we use it as a step getting up and down, but this is a tailgater, and we'll probably put the other side on it. The other side is just laying somewhere, but we'll probably put the other side on it and use it to carry various things when we travel. It will be an added storage place. It's about 5 foot wide, something like that. And you can pile stuff on it and then strap to those things. And we won't be able to open the door if we have it piled up. But if we don't have it piled very high, if it's just got chairs and stuff like that on it, then we'd even be able to open the door. But you wouldn't want to step out on the chairs anyway. So, yeah, that's a thing that's still got to be figured out. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at what we are doing, and I hope you'll join me again for our maiden voyage and then later for the finish work.